He's a tough guy on pit road as soon as one of his crew guys gets in the middle of it. He's going to learn a lesson.
Unfortunately, you race with idiots.
The kid's an idiot.
Google Tony's story. You'll see all kinds of things he's done. Quite the guy.
You know, Dave, I'm just not wrecking enough people. I mean, I'm just going to drive through you and wreck you, so look out and tell Dave.
You can't pass in traffic. You can't race alongside anybody. You can't get within 5 truck lengths of no one. They've had everything fed to them with a spoon. Obviously, Goodyear tires just aren't very good at holding air. The person that's really the biggest moron out there is the spotter of the 46 and the driver of the 46.
He needs a freaking whipping. I'm going to give it to him. He won't hide from me long. I'll find him.
Trash talk is just as common in NASCAR as it is in any major sport. And in NASCAR, that trash talk is usually a diss towards another competitor or someone making a prediction or promise that they couldn't live up to. Here are 5 times that NASCAR driver quotes aged poorly. Number 5 on this list is Kyle Busch not recognizing Brad Keselowski. Before the Bristol race in the 2010 NASCAR Cup Series season, Brad Keselowski took a little jab at Kyle Busch in his driver intro.
Brad Keselowski, driver of the Penske Racing Dodge. Kyle Busch is an ass.
So how does Kyle Busch feel towards Brad Keselowski now? When a reporter asked Kyle Busch about Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch played it off, pretending not to know anything about him. As if he served little importance to the sport of NASCAR, he pretty much pretended like he didn't even know Brad Keselowski was a NASCAR driver. Not having seen him on the track all race long, it's almost like he wasn't there, and Kyle Busch portrays that very clearly in this interview.
I'm not going to say why I beat him, because then he'll fix it, but it has to do with behind the wheel.
Next question. Go ahead, Marty.
He wasn't driving the place right. I'm sorry. If he fixes how to drive this place, he'd be right there with me.
And Kyle, what was your thought about Keselowski's little pre-race declaration?
Who?
Brad Keselowski?
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay. He drives the number 12 car.
I saw it, but I passed it.
But what makes this quote age poorly is that Brad Keselowski went on to win the 2012 NASCAR Cup Series championship. The thing was, Brad Keselowski's NASCAR Cup Series career was just starting out, while Kyle Busch has been racing for upwards of near 10 years. And not only that, but Brad Keselowski won a championship before Kyle Busch did too. It was only 3 years later when Kyle Busch won his championship. In only a time span of 2 years, this quote aged very poorly. Before we get on to the next 4 quotes, subscribe to be informed about every future upload. It's completely free and you can always change your mind later. Number 4 is Carl Edwards at Texas in 2016. Carl Edwards was never known to be a trash talker in NASCAR. He was one to treat his fellow competitors with respect and to race them the right way. So what could he have said that aged so poorly? Well, in the 2016 playoffs, he won the Texas race to advance him to the round of 4 to compete for a championship at Homestead Miami Speedway. The Texas race he won ended early due to rain, and since the race ended early, he didn't deem it to be safe to attempt a backflip on the wet surface. When interviewed and asked whether or not he was going to give the fans his victory backflip, he suggested that he would save it for Homestead when he won the 2016 NASCAR Cup Series championship.
So we're not in victory lane, but are we going to get to see the backflip?
Man, I don't know. I think I'm going to let that one. I'm going to keep the backflip for Homestead. That's what I'm going to do. It's probably a safe thing to do.
This is where things took a turn for the worst and ended up aging poorly. Edwards carried a lot of confidence into Homestead, and he ended up staying up front for the majority of the full race. That is, until a caution came out forcing his hand at a late race restart. He was attempting to fend off Joey Logano. Unfortunately, his car was destroyed into the inside wall, eliminating any chance at the championship or race win. This means that Carl Edwards' fan neither got the backflip at Texas or Homestead as promised. Number 3 on our list is Denny Hamlin talking about Brad Keselowski in 2009. This quote is very similar to the number 5 quote on our list. After an incident between Hamlin and Brad Keselowski at Dover of 2009, Hamlin was interviewed to get his collective thoughts on the situation.
He thinks he's in there if he drives in 20 car lengths deeper to get his nose in there. He's not. He never had position on me whatsoever. He had just got to me, so he never even made an attempt to pass us clean. But, you know, that's why, you know, he'll get a ride and he'll hang around for a couple of years and people will realize that he's not really that good.
The entire interview is pretty bashful, but what sticks out here is when he says he'll get a ride and hang around for a few years until people realize that he's not that good. What this was implying is that a team like Penske would put him in the 2 car, in which he would likely underperform and get dropped from the team a few years later. But in actuality, Brad Keselowski won the 2012 Cup Series championship, while Denny Hamlin still had not won a championship. In fact, to this day, Denny Hamlin still has not won the Cup Series title. However, this year is looking like a very good year for him. Will Denny Hamlin be able to win the 2020 Cup Series title and make it 1-1 versus Brad Keselowski? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The point here is that overall, Denny Hamlin couldn't have been more wrong. Number 2 on this list is Carl Edwards after Homestead 2016. As explained before, Carl Edwards crashed out of the 2016 Homestead race for the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. And upon getting out of his car, he did what I least expected any NASCAR driver would do. He went up to the 22 car's pit box to wish them good luck on the championship race. This moment still outlies to me as one of the best sportsmanship moments in NASCAR to date. A while later, Carl Edwards was interviewed by NBC. After an interview of his collective thoughts, thanking his sponsors, and throwing in a few jokes, it seemed like he was beginning to shed some light on the 2017 season. The quote Carl Edwards said was, "This team is going to be on fire next year, you better watch out, it's going to be awesome." As any NASCAR fan would think, Carl Edwards is not letting this incident knock down his confidence for the upcoming season. Little did we know at the time, he would unexpectedly announce his retirement from NASCAR not even a month later.
I just risked too much, and Dave told me before this race, you know, it's a pretty big reward, and remember, risk gets reward. I just I had to push it. I couldn't go to bed tonight and think that I gave him that lane. So I watched the rest of the race, and I am telling you, this team is going to be on fire next year. You watch out. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you.
On the same day that he announced his retirement, Daniel Suarez was announced to the 19 car full-time for the 2017 Cup Series season. This makes me wonder, how long did Carl Edwards know that he was going to be dropping out of NASCAR? Did he secretly know at the time of this interview? Did the outcome of the race play a role in his decision to leave the sport? Perhaps we'll never know, but one thing is for sure is that Joe Gibbs Racing knew ahead of time about Carl Edwards' decision. Daniel Suarez being announced on the same day to take Carl Edwards' ride was a little suspicious in my opinion. Was Carl Edwards saying that the 19 team is going to be on fire next year with Daniel Suarez? Perhaps he was just hyping up the rookie because the 19 team was far from being on fire in 2017. But man, I wonder what Carl Edwards is doing nowadays.
Well, thanks. That means a lot. I hope I don't mess up the groceries and kind of ruin our relationship.
One could wonder. For the number 1 spot on our list, we have Martin Truex Jr. talking about Joey Logano after Martinsville in 2018. Late in the race, laps were ticking off quickly. Martin Truex Jr. worked multiple laps to try to get around the 22 and doing so successfully without putting the bumper to him. But that didn't stop Joey Logano from bumping Truex out of the way in the final corner. It came down to a side-by-side, sideways finish that Joey Logano was barely able to narrow out. This locked Joey Logano into the NASCAR Cup Series season finale at Homestead Miami Speedway, which means he would be locked in for a chance to win the championship. Martin Truex Jr. wasn't very fond of getting raced this way though. In his post-race interview, he claimed that Joey Logano won the battle, but he isn't going to win the war.
May won the battle, but he ain't win the damn war.
That's it?
That's it.
So he's not going to get there. He's not going to win the championship.
He ain't.
How do you retaliate?
I'm just not going to let him win it. I'm going to win it.
The battle being the race to get into the championship race, but overall, he wasn't going to take home the championship trophy at Homestead. Truex's idea was that Joey Logano not only wasn't going to win the championship, but that he was going to win it instead. Truex did manage to earn a spot in the Final Four to race for the title, but he didn't exactly live up to his promise. His first promise being that Joey Logano wasn't going to win the championship, the second promise that Truex was going to win the championship. And it's interesting how it played out because this is the exact opposite of what happened. Joey Logano became a NASCAR Cup Series champion, while Martin Truex Jr. failed to win 2 in a row. So saying that Joey Logano won the battle, but he wasn't going to win the war, well, Truex's words pretty much just got left in the dust, likely wishing that that quote would wash away from people's memories. It makes it one of the funnier quotes in recent NASCAR memory. So let me know what you thought of this quote list in the comments section below, and let me know what your favorite quote was. Remember to subscribe to be informed about future uploads and that you can always change your mind later. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.